Hey Moyo Tribe, what's up? So the last couple of days we've talked about the Moyo process. I told you that if you're truly going to be able to take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way, you have to have a plan on how you take advantage and make the most of those opportunities without letting them slip by. And I talked about a process that I called the Moyo process, the M-O-E-O. And we talked about the M was motivation to mastery. What excites you? What gives you passion? What are you motivated for? In those areas, build that motivation to master those areas, whatever it may be, to be the best that you can in those areas and focus on those areas because that's where the best opportunities live. And the O was for open your mind. There are so many ways and so many opportunities out there, but sometimes because of a closed mind, we have a tendency to block out some of them and create a resistance to certain opportunities. And that definitely affects our ability to maximize our potential. And the third one I talked about was execute the action. And I talked about there's a critical point between being motivated to do something or wanting to do something and then actually taking action, and that's when you execute the action. And we talked about how there's resistances to those actions. And yesterday I talked about decision fatigue, how there are so many times in our day where we have to make so many decisions throughout the day, we have to do so many actions throughout the day that we just get tired, our brain gets tired, and we don't make the best decisions as we develop that fatigue. And as stress works on us, it creates more and more decision fatigue. And so I talked about I was going to give you some practical ways. When you look at the research behind decision fatigue, there are some very practical things that have shown to decrease the amount of stress that affects our ability to make decisions. So if we're going to make a decision to execute on an action that we're motivated to do, there are things we can do in our life that will give us the best opportunity to execute that action, to take advantage of that. And so we talked about willpower, and the science has shown us that there are ways to increase your willpower. There's an area in the front of your brain called the prefrontal cortex, and that is the area where we're able to make those decisions and do the things that we really want to do, that we're motivated to do. And if we build that prefrontal cortex, if we build those connections and those neurons in that prefrontal cortex, we're able to execute the actions better. It's been shown on MRI that we can literally increase the size of our prefrontal cortex. It's like going to the gym and hypertrophying or building your muscles. You can do the same thing, but stress and the stress reaction and the hormone cortisol decreases the function of the prefrontal cortex. So we've got to learn some tips that we can do every day that builds the prefrontal cortex. Number one tip, there are two things that have shown very precisely to increase the prefrontal cortex. Number one is meditation. Number two is exercise. So let's talk about number one first, meditation. I've talked to you about it before. It's a practice that I've put into my life every single day. Sometimes I meditate 10 minutes, sometimes I meditate 20, 30, sometimes I meditate multiple times through the day. But here's the thing, I do that because my mind was open. I used to think, what good is meditation? It just seems like something that somebody would do high on a mountain. But here's the thing, it is shown scientifically and proven to decrease cortisol, stress hormone levels, to increase the neuron connections and the actual function of the prefrontal cortex. See, it's a time where you just let all the stresses, all these thoughts that bombard you every day go, and you just empty your mind and open your mind and focus on something that is true, something that is real. When I meditate, most of the time I'm meditating on scripture. Sometimes I'm meditating on a thought that I had throughout that day. But I try to let everything go. Whatever thought, whatever stress comes to my mind, I acknowledge it and then I let it go. For 10 minutes, maybe twice a day. Try it. Open your mind and try it, and you will see how it reduces the amount of stress and reduces your decision fatigue. You may not even know you had decision fatigue, but motivation works. Motivation is a physiological practice. I'm an MD. I'm licensed to write prescriptions. Here's your prescription. Every day, find 10 minutes to meditate. It will improve your lifestyle. It will improve the stress levels in your body. And I promise you, over time, that chronic pain that you have, that chronic fatigue that you have, it will help. But you've got to do it, and you've got to have an open mind. There's so many people that I try to get to do this, and they just close their mind. You have to open your mind to it. 10 minutes. You can download an app, Headspace app, Calm app, whatever it takes to get it started. Start out. 10 minutes every day. Find a time where it's quiet, peaceful. You can sit back and relax, decide on something you're going to think about, then meditate on, and just block everything else out. See what happens. What do you have to lose? Moio, everywhere we go. Open your mind.